So in this video, I'm going to show exactly how to remove the axles from the 2003 Honda Accord, which is going to be a series which will lead to the engine replacement as well. I'm also putting the car on jack stands, and I'm taking the wheels off as well, both sides, with my 1/2-inch impact tool. Alright, so here I got a 1 1/4 inch socket for the axle nuts. That also is a 32 millimeter in metric. I'm using a 1/2-inch drive impact. Pretty easy. So the other side, not so easy. It ended up being a little bit more rusted. I think the driver's side, like, it was probably replaced before, but this passenger side one is extremely rusted. So I'm trying to use some heat here. This is just some regular propane torch tip, and easier for the impact tool to hit it, because I did hit it with the tool and it was not able to get it off by itself. But you'll see me use the screwdriver in the slot of the rotor where the air, where the vents are. Then I'll use the breaker bar with the 32 millimeter socket, or I'm sorry, 1 1/4 inch 1/2-inch drive, and I'll break it loose by putting my weight on it. Then you'll see the steering wheel turn too. I have to get my buddy to hold the steering wheel so it can be broken loose. So right here, I'm giving a little tap with the breaker bar to make sure the axle is going to pull out of the hub. Sometimes they get rusted in the splines. And right now, I'm showing the 17 millimeter. I'm using on my 3/8 ratchet to break loose the castle nut that's at top of the steering knuckle to separate the upper control arm. I'm actually making a video of a 2009 Acura TL replacing the driver's side upper control arm, and I show the same procedure basically. Just take the wheel off, take the castle nut off, separate the two. The way you do that is by hitting it with a hammer. After I get this castle nut loose, I'll leave it hanging on by a few threads, and then I'll just whack the top of the knuckle a couple times with a hammer to separate the two. And then you'll see I'll show how I separate it so I can pull the axle out. Or the two 10 millimeter bolts on the ABS wire and the brake line as well. I removed them so the knuckle can come out further and separate, basically, so I can push the axle out of the knuckle and have free play. And here my buddy was having a problem getting the upper control arm separated from the knuckle, so I show that I'm just holding the pry bar against the strut spring, and I pull up on the control arm while he unscrews it, and then we use some pliers to grab the ball joint and unscrew the castle nut. Alright, now under the car I'm going to show how to separate the axle from the transmission. All you have to do is really just use a pry bar or a flat-headed screwdriver big enough to, pop the axle out. And make sure you get a pan or something to catch the fluid. It will leak transmission fluid if it hasn't been taken out before. So just be mindful of that. So after prying it out, I just go and try to fish it through. Yeah, so I show that I gotta remove the 17 millimeter bolt on the lower control arm that holds the strut fork. Once I get that loosened, it'll let me pull the axle out and have some more wiggle room. Alright, so unfortunately I wasn't able to show when I removed that 17 millimeter bolt. I was in a rush. So what I do is take out the bolt, it's like I said, so the fork of the strut can move, and then you see as I'm like shuffling around here, I'm pulling the axle out while moving the strut to give me the free room that I need to remove it. Just be careful with your brake line when you're doing so, because it is still connected, and I didn't want it to disconnect mine and have to bleed the brakes. So after that, I do the same for the other side that my buddy was working on, and then we go from there to show how we also start disconnecting stuff from up top, like the air cleaner and stuff like that, power steering pump, the engine harness. So that'll be in the next video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have anything you wanted to add about this video, or comment with what your thoughts are on this video. If it's helpful, I'm going to continue to post the rest of this particular swap, and then I'll get back to my 2000 EX Civic as well and finish the B20 swap on that. And soon I'll be posting more videos on like my RX-7 and my CRV as well that I have to do in B20 swap too. Thanks for watching.